Trauma is generally some experience that someone has had that causes them to some sort of negative symptoms or outcomes.
It can be personal injury, it can be abuse, it can be hunger, violence.
Those kinds of issues all the time, it really has a profound impact on you. And it changes the way your brain works, and it changes how you see the world, and it makes you always be watchful and suspicious because you never know where the next threat is going to come from.
Often we think of PTSD as someone who has gone to war, but we don't look at people who is around us every day, especially children.
It can lead to depression, it can lead to acting out behaviors, it can lead to running away, it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to suicidal thoughts and behaviors. It can also lead to being abusive towards someone else.
Young girls even more so than young boys, although there's a mix of both certainly. As people experience trauma chronically over and over again, it typically makes them pull back from real human contact, so they become untrusting.
In the broader context, you might end up with a lot of kids out of school because they're not able to manage or regulate in school.
As disruptions increase, the number of dropout rates increase. Also, teen pregnancy correlates to the dropout rates because both of them are increasing by the disruptions.
They also usually have trouble in the job world or in school.
Express their needs, manage their behavior, manage themselves, regulate themselves, calm themselves down. That's a lot of what the literature is out there now, is helping students to calm themselves down, helping them to manage the stress that they're feeling because of the trauma or traumas.
This is trauma, if they're not supported in the right way, can lead to engaging in violence, repeating the trauma against someone else.
So trauma has all kinds of different effects. It interferes with relationships, because what trauma is about is someone hurting you, and so you tend not to trust people anymore.
Watching people get shot on TV lead to other people shooting. It probably influences if there's no one to point out that there are other ways to solve your problem.
Just because the way they relate to people is not what employers are looking for, is not what teachers are looking for much of the time.
There's no one thing that you say a person's experienced trauma and they respond in one way.
They never give up. Doesn't matter if the kids go to jail, come out of jail.
There's not a direct link, but we know that things that happen because when a kid is traumatized can lead to them engaging in behavior that then leads to them being noticed by the police.
Kids who have experienced some challenges, some significant challenges, maybe some ongoing challenges.
Maybe there's something not normal about it compared to everyone else, but it's what's normal to you. Doesn't mean that you like it, doesn't mean that you think it's okay, but now you feel shame and embarrassment, and so you don't tell anyone.
And you can't have a good, loving family relationship if you can't trust anyone.
There's a real direct link between experiencing trauma and not receiving help, and then ultimately perhaps engaging in negative behavior. The difference is that if you're in a community that doesn't have enough support system, those behaviors can lead you to being arrested by the police or being caught up in the system because there's no one around you to protect you.
To understand what's going on and take care of people who are having troubles. Yes, things happen, but with some good, supportive, caring, understanding adults, we can learn to deal with and understand those traumas in our lives, and often you see really good understanding emerge in somebody.
It took me 30 years to find out I had PTSD. I known there was something wrong. I spent countless hours and dollars trying to fix myself. When the diagnosis came, it was an amazing relief. At last I could understand why my actions and reactions for so long had been so irrational. I couldn't work or concentrate, became a virtual hermit for about 5 years. Withdrawing further emotionally from my family, often in depression or anger, with painful reactions to noise. Decades of sleep deprivation and use of only the lowest moods. Treatment since has helped, the flashbacks are gone. I can now shop and walk in crowded areas, and loud noises rarely send me into a quivering mess. I still hit the wall, but the good times are lasting longer.
There's so little opportunity for them to look around and say, things are not okay in my community, but I can do something about it.
And so, as a community, we have to get past that. We have to be open and willing to access services, but B, we have to also demand services, because in our communities, we don't have enough services.
We could develop a whole generation of activists who are peaceful activists, but powerful activists who could really work for change. You get a number of young people together who have had similar kinds of experiences.
Children and parents want someone to help them. And they want someone who recognizes the struggles that they're having and are willing to partner with them to be able to survive those challenges.
With the right kind of supports, they can, and there's all that energy can be directed toward improving the communities, making it safer for younger people.
Now, they may have a hard time asking, but once they realize that the person is genuinely there to engage with them as a support system, they access it. What we found is that over time, as public dollars decrease, the first thing that goes are social services.
It's not just you meet with them for a few times and you make them better, but really that you walk through life for a long period with them. And that takes real commitment over and over again.
And people don't care about mental health issues. They don't care about people of color. So we have to demand that we deserve those services and should have them.
The one that seems to be the most important is what they're now calling circle processes, or peacemaking circles, or healing circles. People take turns and talk about what their experiences have been.
But kids don't go to jail because they've experienced trauma. Somebody can come to therapy every day, once a week for a year, and if they aren't actively engaged, it doesn't help.